The following program, The Lightning Strike, is sponsored by Mohammed Fahim, and to the extent applicable, their guests. The views and opinions expressed therein do not necessarily reflect those of Heartland Signal, LLC, or its management.
Get ready to be jolted out of the ordinary and into a world where conversations are charged with intensity and facts. The Lightning Strike Talk Radio with your host, Mohammed Fahim, broadcasting live from the heart of the city on Chicago's Progressive Talk Radio, WCPT 820 AM. Welcome to a radio show that charges through the airwaves with an electricity like no other. Here's your host, Mohammed Fahim.
Good morning, Chicago, and welcome to another Lightning Strike. Today, Sunday, from 9 to 10, we are live here. And if you want to join the conversation, the number to call in is 773-763-9278. Our person of the week is somebody who is very, very, very interesting. His name is Harish Kolasani. Harish will be joining us shortly in the studios. But today, we're going to start off by talking about Netanyahu's arrest warrant and Israel's continued assault on Gaza and Lebanon. The Panera Bread assault, in case you haven't heard about that, we'll be talking about that. And Matt Guest and his, what do you call it? How do you call it? What happened to Matt Guest? Okay. We'll have other people joining on that. Social Security and Medicare is under assault by the incoming Trump administration. And we are also going to talk about Biden's decision to allow Ukraine to use American weapons to go deep into Russia, and Putin's thing, response to that. With me in the studios today, my co-host Ken DeLuke.
Howdy, folks.
And Alderman John Arena.
Good morning.
Marie Newman is not going to be joining us today, and Marie would be calling in as a special analyst once or twice a month now. She's getting busy with a lot of other activities. And so let us get into what happened with Netanyahu's arrest warrant. The ICC has issued an arrest warrant for Netanyahu, and Yoav Gallant, I believe the former defense minister of Israel, and also a couple of Hamas leaders. So France and Canada have already come out and said that if Netanyahu sets their foot on their soil, he would be arrested.
And what's really strange is the U.S. has not said that.
I don't know if that's strange, considering the UN another genocide resolution failed, or ceasefire resolution failed.
Yes,
with the United States being the only dissenting vote, and of course we have veto power. So, to me, not surprising they're not going through, with.
Okay, so folks, if you want to chime in on what the heck is happening with our foreign policy, there have been massive protests in Israel now against Netanyahu. There's almost a civil war condition that is on in Israel now. And why are we getting caught in the middle on this? I am unable to understand, especially... Here's what happened with the latest elections, though. AIPAC, which should have been registered as a foreign agent, if you ask me, John, AIPAC spent $53 million backing pro-Israel candidates on both sides of the aisle in the 2024 election cycle. And they are boasting this, 98% of their endorsees won their general election on November 5.
Yeah.
So the new administration coming in, I don't think there's going to be much of a change in policy as far as the support to Israel's genocide is concerned.
You mean the new administration that got hundreds of millions of dollars from a single billionaire, not counting the other billionaires? I mean, this administration's, I think what this shows is money in politics is the ultimate corruption. I mean, the Citizens United has now played out where the voice of money is more than the voice of people.
Yeah, during the primary season, let's not forget it, that AIPAC's efforts have successfully ousted 24 anti-Israel politicians, including the squad members Jamal Bowman and Cori Bush. Mm-hmm. So AIPAC had pledged to commit $100 million. I mean, what is happening with America's commitment to human rights, folks. That is what something that I would really, really like to focus on. And if we are not focusing on that, why are we doing this? That's the question that I've always asked myself, that it is okay to support Israel. No one says that we should not be supporting Israel. But to support a mass genocide in real time, that is unacceptable.
Yeah. Well, I listened to, I think, most of the speech from the Palestinian representative to the UN, and he said it pretty bluntly. It's like, 100. I think the United States' complaint on why they didn't support it was that it didn't unequivocally support release of the hostages. But that's been played out over and over again. It's been well documented that they support that. The Palestinian representative said we support the release of the hostages. But how many Palestinians have to die? That now we're at somewhere around 45,000 that we know of.
Yeah.
And, what's the balance here? And clearly human rights, I mean, in this country, has taken a hit over the last decade or more. When we bail out banks but not bail out families who've been kicked out of their homes because of investment issues with the banks, and we simply continue to send weapons of war, mass destruction, to aid in a genocide. So I don't think we have any stand on human rights at this point.
On that note, folks, we'll take a quick break and we'll be right back after this.
Did you know there's an Illinois mandate that states by 2025, ComEd has to have 25% of the energy they deliver come from a green source? Because of this, plus the fees and taxes you've already paid on this program, if you qualify, you can get solar on your home at no out-of-pocket cost. This can mean an average savings on your electric bill of maybe 30 to 50%. More importantly, it would eliminate the uncertainty of ComEd raising your rates by whoever knows how much each year. Some people have noticed a 41% increase on their bill this spring, and ComEd has been asking for another 80% increase over the next 4 years. If your average bill is $200 a month now, maybe it could be reduced to $100 a month. Now, 5 years, would you rather pay $115 or possibly $400 to $500? If you'd like to see if you can qualify for this program, call Ken DeLuke at 312-617-8979. That's 312-617-8979. Help us save the environment and change that electric bill burden. That's 312-617-8979. Take advantage of this program while it's still available.
Your voice matters more than ever. Are you registered to vote? If not, don't wait. Download the Vote IQ app today. Vote IQ gives you all the information you need on local and national offices, plus constant updates on the political news that affects you. It's easy, it's free, and it's your key to making informed decisions. Visit the Play Store or go online to www.app.voteiq.org. Your vote is your power. Make it count. Download the app now and ensure you make an informed decision at the polls.
Welcome back to the Lightning Strike with Mohammed Fahim.
Good morning, folks. Welcome back to the Lightning Strike. So we've been discussing quite a few things today, and especially what's happening in the Middle East now that is so important for us as a country. Netanyahu, arrest warrant for him. And ICC has come up very strongly against that. The U.S. has come out very strongly against that. So the question is, why is the U.S. still allowing this tail to wag the American dog now? Okay. Canada has come up and said that if Netanyahu sets foot in there, he's going to get arrested. Hungary, surprisingly, is supporting Netanyahu, John.
Hungary?
Yeah, Hungary of all places. Okay. So
it's the authoritarian draft. He was the third round draft choice in the worldwide authoritarian draft. So that makes sense.
So, locally now, here's what's happening. All this hate that is out there in the world is impacting what is happening in America. And this, our society is getting divided, guys, and that's a huge concern of mine, and it should be a concern for everybody out there. In Downers Grove now, this close to home. Last week, a lady comes up to a Palestinian couple, and these people were born over here. She comes up, and this couple, the woman is pregnant, and this lady comes up, and she starts berating them, saying that go back to the country that you came from. Well, these guys are born over here. And she ends up throwing a cup of hot coffee at this pregnant woman right here in Downers Grove.
Yeah.
Now, fortunately, she has been arrested and she's been charged with a hate crime. That is how it should be. And the first hearing was last week, that quick. So if you know of somebody that has been impacted by this, please feel free to call in and let us know. The number to call in is 773-763-9278. Now, let's switch gears while we are waiting for people to call in. Trump now has openly come out and said that the first day on the job, he's going to round up millions of people and send them back. John, how does that work logically?
Well, it doesn't work logically, but it works politically to continue to vilify brown and black people. I mean, that's clearly how they won this election. They turned, this rhetoric and this constant drumbeat that there is an enemy.
There's an enemy within. Remember,
they're
Trump
coming for your daughter and your lawnmower, I guess, and your cats and your dogs. So, I mean, it's
Trump used that term, enemy within.
He does, and he specifically says liberals and Marxist, socialists, whatever that is.
What people don't realize, it's just the effect that was going to be put upon the American public if he actually starts doing any of the things that he says he wants to do, in terms of morality, in terms of economics, in terms of every metric you can imagine. The late, great Stephen Wright had a phrase. He says, experience is something you don't get until just after you need it. Okay? And this is what, I mean, I am really scared on what could happen if he actually moves forward with half the stuff he's talking about doing. Now, granted, he's not going to be able to do everything. There is going to be some pushback, because when he starts going after some of these companies and, like, for example, the farmers, now you got the corn lobby, are going to be very upset if they don't have people working in the fields and whatnot. So there is going to be some pushback. He's not going to be able to do all the things that he needs to do, but he's going to be able to do enough to hurt us.
Well, yeah, I mean, just the threat. Obviously, even if they look, the irony is they say we're going to cut government waste and we need to reduce the amount of money that the federal government spends. The estimates are $80 billion to implement the kind of program. I mean, we deport 250,000 people on an average year from this country. That operation takes an enormous amount of manpower. And so to hit the kind of numbers they're talking about, even to 1 million, it means you have to scale up the Department of ICE, 5 to 6 times of what it is now. So if we're complaining about what government is spending, but we're going to spend this much money to disrupt our economy, our neighborhoods, our families, and commit human rights violations in doing it, and create like an atmosphere of fear where you got to report on your neighbors or not report on your neighbors and watch this go down. I mean, just to the soul of this country, that would be the hardest hit.
John, let me ask you something. As a former alderman for the city of Chicago, and Chicago is a sanctuary city, how does a local government fight back against the federal coming in and saying, we want you to do this? I know that Governor Pritzker and the governor of Colorado, Jordan, have formed this new organization to fight back. And hopefully, folks, we may have Governor Pritzker on the line with us next week. We have reached out to his office, and Ken had a nice conversation with his press person, right?
His press secretary, yeah.
So we should be hearing from Governor Pritzker next week on the show, hopefully. So, John, how does a city fight back?
Well, I think, the first thing that I've always, when we were going through debates about sanctuary city protections, they think people have this sense that, like, we have like you come here and then you're given a home and, you know, a porch swing and everything. All Sanctuary City means is that our local law enforcement does not ask for papers, does not share information directly with ICE. ICE has to do its work and can do its work in Chicago as it needs within the bounds of the law, meaning if they have court orders, if they have, you know, if they have orders to go in and find somebody, then they can do that. But it means that the Chicago Police Department is not handing over people who they pick up for a traffic violation and say, well, we don't know if you're a citizen, we're going to turn you over to ICE and they'll figure it out. That's what Sanctuary City means, and that is it.
And Trump has threatened to use the military and the National Guard. The president has no control over the National Guard, folks. Let's
actually,
be sure
he does
about
if he declares a national emergency. He does have control, right? And he would probably have no consumption not to do that. So,
well, Ken, I just hope that the military uphold their oath and remember the part about defending the Constitution against all threats, foreign and domestic. Mm-hmm. If they honor and obey that, our democracy might stand a chance.
Yeah. But, in order to deploy the military in the way he's talking about, he needs law behind him, and the law is not behind him now. So whatever executive orders, just like in his first term, the ACLU is already prepared. Many other organizations are already prepared to file the lawsuits that are going to stall this. And yes, we know that the Supreme Court is not our friend, and we don't know where they're going to come out. But there is constitutional repercussions here. And he's going to try to do these things, which is, that's the first chilling effect. We know he's going to try to do it because he's an egomaniac. But in order to actually execute and get the military to follow those orders, there's going to be a long series of lawsuits and rulings that will have to come on his side in order to make that happen.
Here's the message, folks. Don't be scared, okay? They're trying their best now to scare people into taking preemptive actions. Some people want to leave the country and go. A lot of people are spending sleepless nights now, especially the immigrants and the immigrant community. He even wants now to come in after people who came in legally, who are immigrants, who are citizens, and to go back and check their paperwork when it was filed to see if there was any mistake. Now, in that case, folks, I think
we'll get them all on a technicality. Is that
the first person that he should be getting after is our friend Elon Musk.
Yeah, and his wife.
Elon Musk came in on a student visa, from Canada. He came in on a student visa, went to Stanford, attended 2 classes, and then dropped out and started a technology company. Okay, now that is illegal.
That might be a violation
to begin with. That's the fundamental violation right there. And I want to see Trump having the guts, and I don't want to use the N-word on this, but whatever rhymes with guts. Okay, don't want to use that on the radio, folks, to go after Elon Musk. Okay, on that note, we'll take a quick break, and we'll be back on the other side of the break with our person of the week, Harish Kolasani, who is in the studio with us, and Sheila White, our segment producer for person of the week, will be introducing Harish shortly.
Are you ready to spark change? Tune in to the Lightning Strike Talk Radio Show, where we tackle today's biggest issues with a bold, progressive voice. Hosted by Muhammad Fahim, we dive deep into politics, social justice, and the stories that shape our communities. Want to stay informed and inspired? Head over to tlsradio.com for full episodes, exclusive content, and updates on upcoming shows. That's tlsradio.com, where lightning strikes.
Hey, Jude, I got your Zoom request. What's up?
Hi, Ken. Well, I know that you're into politics, and after watching the news last night, I'm interested in getting more involved myself.
Great. How can I help?
Well, I have some ideas on the candidates, but no clue on most of the other candidates I might find on the ballot. Can you help me get information on that?
Hey, better than that, I can give you a website that'll do a way better job. than me. VoteIQ.org. Personally, this is the best resource for voting I've ever seen. You hit the profile button, you enter your name and address, it will automatically know what district you're in. So when you hit the Meet the Candidates link, it will show you everyone that will be on your ballot, including their phone number, address, email, and website. There's also links for virtual events, meetings, Q&As. They have discussion groups if you want to connect with like-minded voters. It has a fantastic news link that continuously updates, and by continuously, I mean all the time. It's like, minute by minute almost, with digital video and live TV. And if you haven't registered to vote, there's a voting hub which will give you everything you need, including where to register, finding your polling locations, using absentee ballots, and they'll even show you what's on your ballot. There's also a spot for surveys and polls. Plus, there's a lot of other features. The best part, it's free. Do you have a pen?
That's awesome. Thank you for that information. Yes.
Okay, again, the website is voteiq.org, or you can even download the app on your smartphone from your app store.
Awesome. Thanks, Ken. I appreciate it.
Yeah, let me know what you think about that.
I will.
Take care. Bye.
Welcome back to the Lightning Strike with Mohammed Fahim.
Welcome back, folks, to the Lightning Strike. Mohammed Fahim in the studio with me today. Ken DeLuke, John Arena, and our guest, our person of the week, Sheila. Would you mind introducing our person of the week today?
Absolutely. Our person of the week is Harish Kalasamy, and he is a dynamic individual with a magnetic personality. He is someone you should know. I want to just welcome him to the show and let him take it from there. Harish, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself today.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Harish Kalasany. I can call myself as first volunteer of National India Hub, which is a community center started in Schaumburg, Illinois. And officially, now we have a new building since last 1 year, and it is a world's largest Indian community center, if we call it as Indian Community Center. But now it turned into an international community hub. That is a new name for the center, because the community, like without any borders, all ethnic groups, everyone are enjoying the place. So that's why we felt like we need to name it in a way that everyone can use it with pride. So that's we have a center for which we are expecting Guinness World Record for having highest number of social services under one roof.
Awesome. So, folks, we try to highlight people who are doing good in the community. Harish and I have known each other for quite a few years now. And Harish, some of the things that you do, I don't know how you do it, but you go, over and beyond what is required of a single person to do this. So, the NRI Foundation that you started a long time back, the Non-Resident Indian Seva Foundation or Service Foundation, what are some of the activities that you have been doing with it, especially back home in India?
It is a free physical therapy, which we treat about close to, nowadays it's about 500 people per day. It's been on an average of 400 treatments per day, zero money involved. I mean, no one pays anything except we paying to the staff. And 50% complete management is done by the volunteers who all are retired officers with a very good experience during their job. So those are the ones who are taking care of the whole organization, I can say, back home.
Awesome again. And so, folks, here is the thing that is needed right now. We need people. I was listening to something on Hidden Brain by Shankar Vedantam today coming in on NPR. Mm-hmm. And they were talking about the psychological impact of volunteer service, how it changes the way people think about themselves and the amount of positive vibes that come in when you're volunteering. So kudos to Harish for starting this organization. The National India Hub, international hub that you have now, what kind of services do they provide?
We have many, basic daily stuff is we have about 18 dance schools who are doing classes over there, per week.
Okay.
many language classes, STEM Academy, robotics. More than these are all like youth.
Science, technology, engineering, and math,
right.
STEM. Okay.
This is all towards youth activities, but we are also having organizations using the place, the organizations who are helping with domestic abuse survivors, sexual assault victims, and mental health, of course. That is one of the main reasons we started this space, and healthcare.
So if Trump comes in for some services for mental health, you're going to provide that free of charge to him?
It is free for anyone.
Okay. Well,
how does somebody reach out to you if they wanted to get in touch with your organization?
Right now, direct contact. It's like it's been like word of mouth. But to reach us, we have a toll-free number.
Okay. Would you mind giving out the toll-free number?
I need to remember. It's about 1-888-6639.
Okay. And do you have a website?
So 1-888-6635. Okay. And do you have a website that you can share with our listeners?
Right now it is indiahub.org.
Sheila, do you have any questions, follow-up questions for Harish? Okay, Sheila is muted over there. So, folks, if you want to reach out to India Hub, and Harish, if somebody...
I just want to know, Harish, how do you have the energy to do what you do? I'm sorry.
Everyday thing. I get energy from doing it.
Hang on 1 second. Sheila, I think... Sheila, if you could mute your radio, please. Okay, now go ahead.
I got your question, Sheila.
Okay.
The energy is like a daily chain. I mean, as long as I'm serving, I feel more motivated, and that's my thing. I mean, I don't help. All the past years since 2010 with NRI Seva or with the pandemic, the way I was able to do help people is what we call, but I call it as help myself. Whenever I see an opportunity to help, not with any simple, silly things, but the real help where it makes a difference. That's where I get all my energy automatically. I mean, it's like a cycle. The more I help, more energy I get.
We have known each other for quite some time, right?
Yeah.
And I have always admired what you do for the community.
Thank you.
And it is not just he's doing this all the time, folks. Harish has a business that he runs also. It's an IT and software consulting company that you are involved with. How is that company coming along?
It's okay. I mean, as long as I'm making more than what I make while working, that's what I care about.
Okay, on that note, let's take a quick break, and we'll be back continuing the conversation. And we'll talk about the Department of Government Efficiency, how the heck it is going to be funded, and whether it's really going to get off the ground and stop scaring people.
Are you ready to spark change? Tune in to the Lightning Strike Talk Radio Show, where we tackle today's biggest issues with a bold, progressive voice. Hosted by Muhammad Fahim, we dive deep into politics, social justice, and the stories that shape our communities. Want to stay informed and inspired? Head over to tlsradio.com for full episodes, exclusive content, and updates on upcoming shows. That's tlsradio.com, where lightning strikes. Your voice matters more than ever. Are you registered to vote? If not, don't wait. Download the Vote IQ app today. Vote IQ gives you all the information you need on local and national offices, plus constant updates on the political news that affects you. It's easy, it's free, and it's your key to making informed decisions. Visit the Play Store or go online to www.app.voteiq.org. Your vote is your power. Make it count. Download the app now and ensure you make an informed decision at the polls.
Welcome back to the Lightning Strike with Mohammed Fahim.
Harish is a celebrity. Good morning, folks. Welcome back to the Lightning Strike. Mohammed Fahim, and in the studios with me today, Ken DeLuke, John Arena, and Harish Kolasani, who joined us as our Person of the Week. Harish is doing a lot of great work in Chicago and beyond, and I have known Harish for quite a few years now. Harish, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you so much for coming in. We will continue the conversation, and I'll be in touch with you. Thanks again for coming in.
Thank you.
Okay, so back to the conversation, folks. The Department of Government Efficiency. What a cute little name. It reflects the Dogecoin that our friend Elon Musk, the illegal who came into this country and came back in as a student and then managed to start a business when you are not supposed to do that as a student. And I want to hold people accountable for this, man.
Violation of immigration law?
Yeah, okay.
Maybe call
Isn't that what Trump ran on? Wait a minute.
Okay.
I'm having a mental conflict here. I don't understand.
Be careful what you wish for. Mr. Musk has told us that he's going to save approximately $2 trillion out of the federal budget.
Well, that sounds like quite a bit of money.
Yeah, and what's really interesting is $2 trillion is pretty much the full extent of the discretionary spending that the U.S. government has available.
I don't know, I have a sneaking suspicion that that's not the $2 trillion that they're looking at cutting. There is another $6 trillion that includes things like the Department of Defense and things like Medicare, Medicaid, and what's that retirement plan? What do we call that? You pay into it in your paycheck every
Social
paycheck.
Security?
Social Security, yeah, that crazy program that nobody likes is incredibly expensive. So I think if you just got rid of those things, he could hit his $2 trillion pretty easy.
Yeah. And here's the thing, though.
I want to take a poll.
Here's the thing. Some of the Republican senators, Murkowski and Susan Collins and Chuck Schumer, are finally finding something called a spine.
Well, a little.
Okay,
very thin.
So a little thin line of spine is coming in, folks. And when they came after Matt Gaetz and said there's no way that he is ever going to be confirmed as the Attorney General. So some spine is coming in, and hopefully they will strengthen that spine by challenging some of these crazy ideas. First off, the Department of Government Efficiency, don't be afraid of it, folks, okay? That has to be formed by an act of Congress.
Department of Government. So this is part of the problem. There's a title. Now, we would have to create a department.
That's what I'm
saying.
saying.
Which right now is supposedly going to be two guys, Vivek Ramaswamy and...
But here's my question, John. If it is going to be the Department, quote-unquote, of Government Efficiency, why does it take two people to run it?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Two of our smartest and brightest, right? The question is, what's the budget of the Department of Government Efficiency going to be?
Yeah, first off,
how efficient is it going to be?
Yeah, first off, it has to be formed by an act of Congress.
Exactly.
Okay.
Which they can do.
Yeah. Second, the budget for that has to be approved by some of the committees of Congress. It is not like you form this department and Musk will come in and say, I'm not going to take any salary for this.
As long as he can promise that for every dollar he gets in a budget, he can save 50 cents in efficiency, I think he's got a winner there.
Yeah,
okay.
A 50 to 1 ratio.
So a lot of here's the thing. Trump does not give a flying kiss for what is going to be happening in his second term because he knows he's not going to run again, right?
Yeah.
So
are we sure of that?
Okay.
He has telegraphed a little bit like, why not go for 3? He hasn't even gotten to 2, but he's already begging for 3.
Okay.
He did say that.
Again, folks, do not be afraid, okay? It's not going to be all doom and gloom. We have got some great people on the other side of the divide over here, especially our governor has put his foot down. Yeah. And if you know the governor, he's got a heavy foot, okay? So he's putting his feet down and says, you'll have to go through me if you want to come. Now, a lot of posturing in there. I understand that. But the Department of Government Efficiency is not going to take off on day one of the Trump administration. Mm-hmm. And by the way, they have a 180-day plan, not a 100-day plan, a 180-day plan that comes straight from Project 2025.
Well, I know why they need an extra 80 days, because we were just talking about this. I have read quite a bit of this,
okay,
and Ken has read all of it. But the way this is written in its third grade grammar, it's going to take an extra 80 days just to figure out what the hell they were talking about. This is the worst guiding document I've ever seen.
Well, what's amazing about this document, and he's seen a couple examples of this, and so have I, is literally they'll say one thing in a paragraph, and the next paragraph is exactly 180 degrees opposite of what they said in the first paragraph.
Yeah, because they had a bunch of monkeys sitting down and putting these thoughts together. And one monkey didn't communicate with the other monkey. Okay. So I've already made my list, though. The day after the election, core inflation was 2.2%. Let us not forget these things, okay? And I will keep on repeating it. The day after the election, core inflation was 2.2%. The Dow was 43,492, and unemployment was 4.1. In MAGA minds, that was reason to get rid of the president's party. Given that Trump has promised to do everything Herbert Hoover did between 1929 and 1933, we will see how that works out for them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yesterday, the Dow closed at 44,296, the NASDAQ 19,003, and the S&P 500 is just shy of 6,000. These are all-time highs. Drove down south to pick up some venison for my brother-in-law yesterday and paid $2.75 for a gallon of gas. The national average is $3.03. These are all-time lows. So, and polling is already saying Republicans being polled, 16% of Republicans have said after the election the economy's doing better. Trump has not been sworn in. There is not a single policy. A person's vestige of being on this planet does not change the economy. So there is literally a fantasy world that many people in our country are living in that says January 6th being an act of treason is somehow equatable to eggs being an extra 25 cents more than they were 4 years ago. And that is unconscionable.
Jen, half the people you know are below average.
It's true. Well, I think more than half the people in this country are below average.
Okay, folks.
To be honest.
So you're tuned in to the Lightning Strike. We come every Sunday morning from 9 to 10. And you are welcome to call in if you would like to join the conversation or go to our website, tlsradio.com. Send us a message and we'll be happy to invite you as a guest to come and talk about what is bothering you, what keeps you up at night. And we'll be taking a quick break and we'll come back on the other side of the break with more scintillating conversation here on the Lightning Strike.
Hey, Jude, I got your Zoom request. What's up?
Hi, Ken. Well, I know that you're into politics, and after watching the news last night, I'm interested in getting more involved myself.
Great. How can I help?
Well, I have some ideas on the candidates, but no clue on most of the other candidates I might find on the ballot. Can you help me get information on that?
Hey, better than that, I can give you a website that'll do a way better job than me. VoteIQ.org. Personally, this is the best resource for voting I've ever seen. You hit the profile button, you enter your name and address, it will automatically know what district you're in. So when you hit the Meet the Candidates link, it will show you everyone that will be on your ballot, including their phone number, address, email, and website. There's also links for virtual events, meetings, Q&As. They have discussion groups if you want to connect with like-minded voters. It has a fantastic news link that continuously updates, and by continuously, I mean all the time. It's like, minute by minute almost, with digital, video, and live TV. And if you haven't registered to vote, there's a voting hub which will give you everything you need, including where to register, finding your polling locations, using absentee ballots, and it'll even show you what's on your ballot. There's also a spot for surveys and polls. Plus, there's a lot of other features. The best part It's free. Do you have a pen?
It's awesome. Thank you for that information. Yes.
Okay, again, the website is voteiq.org, or you can even download the app on your smartphone from your app store.
Awesome. Thanks, Ken. I appreciate it.
Yeah, let me know what you think about that.
I will.
Take care. Bye.
Are you ready to spark change? Tune in to the Lightning Strike Talk Radio Show, where we tackle today's biggest issues with a bold, progressive voice. Hosted by Muhammad Fahim, we dive deep into politics, social justice, and the stories that shape our communities. Want to stay informed and inspired? Head over to tlsradio.com for full episodes, exclusive content, and updates on upcoming shows. That's tlsradio.com, where lightning strikes.
Welcome back to the Lightning Strike with Muhammad Fahim.
Good morning, folks. Welcome back to the Lightning Strike, and we will definitely take some calls now from our listeners. Cindy from Michigan, thank you so much for listening, Cindy. What do you want to talk about?
Hello, all. I thought it was great that you mentioned the numbers. Those should be front and center.
Yep.
And I was thinking that we need to keep taking those numbers on January 20th when Biden actually leaves office, so we have the most current good numbers. But what concerns me is as Trump gets his policies in place in the haphazard way that I have a feeling that they're going to do, things are going to get bad. But they'll still blame Biden.
Well, Cindy,
so we
Cindy,
have to have that argument front and center.
Absolutely, Cindy, and we'll keep on repeating that over here, okay, so that people get the message.
Oh, I know you would.
Yep, and
it's kind of with the listeners.
Yep.
Cindy, that's a good
the
point.
Listeners have to pick up the slack.
Yeah, Cindy. Right now, the pulse of the electorate right now is depression, and as Stephen Wright said, depression is merely anger without enthusiasm. So it's really important to get in contact, and I don't care if you're in a red district, a blue district, like our conversation was last week. Get in contact with your representatives, preferably in person if you have the time to go to their office, but more importantly, send them emails, make phone calls, let them know what your feelings are, because that's the only thing that will motivate these people to do the right thing moving forward.
Yep, and
well, I also am a part of a Native American tribe here in Southwest Michigan. Oh, by the way, I paid $2.62 for gas yesterday.
There you go.
So, that was great. But they have a tendency. There are people who've been, I'll say brainwashed. Fox News, right-wing radio, to think that that Donald Trump would be good for Native people, which is absolutely crazy. But I have to do my talking more on a one-to-one basis when I see them at gatherings. When I'm, I just make sure that I've got that information. And wow, haven't you seen the gas prices? Biden, that's his, he helped. I'll say just about anything I have to when I know someone has got some veteran in their home. I'll say, you know what? They're thinking about cutting veterans' health in the Trump.
There you go.
It's thinking about cutting veterans' health. I got to pinpoint the thing that will hit them most. Autistic child in the house. They want to get rid of the Department of Education. That covers that child's whole education.
Yep.
So you've got to find that thing that will emotionally kick that person in the gut and go, really? I didn't know he was going to do that.
And that's
no, he is going to do that.
Cindy, that's the thing that people need to understand. Okay, Department of Education goes, FAFSA goes. Okay, the parents will have to kind of scratch their heads and say, how do I get my kid educated now?
Yeah.
Now, Trump's administration picks. Trump's administration picks, guys, are made for TV, not for governing, okay? Pete Hegseth, Sean Duffy, Mehmet Oz. I mean, come on. These are all...
Linda McMahon.
Linda McMahon, who, obviously kicked her husband in the you-know-what on television.
And smacked her daughter.
Okay? That is the kind of education secretary who has never been in any kind of education-related field. Boy, we are in for a fun ride, folks. Just take it as 4 years of, reality television.
Oh, God.
And hopefully...
well, the intention is to get rid of all the departments and put everything under Trump's
It's not going to happen,
no, it's
so
not.
don't worry about it.
But
okay?
they will ruin. They can ruin those departments to the point where when they get out of the White House and get out of power, which will happen, then the Democrats have to spend 100% of their time trying to get everything back up again. And then people say it's not fast enough.
Trying to fix it. Cindy, thank you so much for your call. And let's go to Earl.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, keep
Bye-bye.
on listening. Let's go to Earl in Hyde Park. Earl, good morning. You are on the Lightning Strike. Good to hear from you after a while. Where have you been?
Good morning, and thank you. Yeah, good morning, and thanks for taking my call. And I'll amplify what she just was talking about. The Republican Party has a very good echo chamber. They go out and tell the world that, the sky is falling, and then a number of people out here, think that the sky is all bad, and that when the Democrats are not doing enough for them. But they would believe that when the Republican Party get in, that they're going to make the world right. They're going to solve all the ills, and they're going to somehow eliminate, all of the problems that the Democrats have solved. And I think was the biggest problem that we had in our election. We don't know how to toot our own horn. We don't know how to make the public really know how well the economy is and how bad the plans are by the Republican Party. So we just got to. I figured that we have to figure out a better way of communicating.
Well,
I have a great way of communicating, Earl. Make sure that you tune in to Alex Jones' InfoWars.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for calling in, man. The best person to really counter this is people like you, Earl. Talk with your friends, talk with your neighbors. Ask them to tune in to the Lightning Strike every Sunday to listen to some sensible talk over here. One quality that many of President Donald Trump's recent picks for his incoming administration have in common is that they are poorly qualified for their positions, all of them. Okay, and primed to try to implement some terrible ideas. So let's not forget, but there's one thing that binds them all. They are all TV stars, okay? So it is well established by now that Trump has a taste for loyalty and ideological allies, right? But between Trump's picks of Mehmet Oz for administrator of Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, Pete Hegseth for Defense Secretary, and Sean Duffy for Transportation Secretary, it is apparent that he is also keen to boost people who have developed a following on television.
Don't forget RFK.
Oz is commonly referred to on television as Dr. Oz, right? Yeah. It's a poor choice to head up a government agency with $1 trillion budget that oversees medication coverage decisions, drug price negotiations, vaccine programs, and the Affordable Care Act's insurance marketplace. He's a heart surgeon turned television personality, doctor, first, though, an appearance on the Oprah Winfrey Show. Remember that? Yeah. And later by his own daytime talk show. He has no experience in government. No.
But he does have experience asking his audience members to smell their own urine.
Yeah, and his public health endeavors have been marked by junk science and hucksterism. Right?
Yeah, the study showed that 40% of the, whatever things he's selling or promoting on his show were basically quack science, stuff that had no effect on anything or any basis in actual medicine or science. So this is, but this, to the caller's point, this is been their goal for a long time, to continue to destabilize people's confidence that government can produce results. And the funny thing is, when they're incompetent, they point the finger and people look where they're pointing. When we're in office and we're competent, they just keep saying we're incompetent, that we can't implement programs or get anything done despite what the facts are.
Yeah.
So, the challenge I find is we have some real issues that we have to solve in terms of getting back to truth in advertising, truth in news. We need to take back airwaves and say, look, if you're going to be an opinion, then you don't get free airwaves. You got to pay for that.
Yep.
But right now this is a big problem because nobody knows where to turn for the truth. because they're inundated with misinformation.
Well, here's the thing, John. They need to turn to the lightning strike.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Okay, here's the thought. Okay, Duffy, Trump's pick for transportation secretary, is exactly the opposite of the kind of figure the public needs in this position. The former congressman later became a corporate lobbyist, working on behalf of U.S. airline companies, oil and gas interests, and auto manufacturers to lobby the transportation department.
So he's a swamp creature, is what you're saying. And should be eradicated.
It means he's working on behalf of groups that seek to loosen consumer protection, safety rules, and environmental regulations now. He's not a political neophyte. He's a former congressman for Wisconsin. He comes from the swamp, right?
Yeah.
But his greatest asset is Trump's eyes, maybe that he's a Fox News host and married to another Fox News host, Rachel Campos Duffy, to boot. Duffy is also a former reality TV star. He was once a cast member.
It is all in the family with the
I'm telling you. So Fox News, folks, is going to be running the government for us pretty soon. And by the way, they are trying to take out MSNBC. And our illegal alien friend Elon Musk has expressed an interest in buying MSNBC now.
Oh, that's good.
Okay, so
there's a gentleman that I'd like to play a clip if we get a quick.
Yeah, we got a couple of minutes going on.
The guy who is Russell Voigt has been nominated by Trump to run the Office of Budget Management, and Dylan, if you have it ready, go ahead and play that. Because this is what he thinks about how we need to deal with some budget issues.
We're trying to build a shadow office of legal counsel so that when a future president says, what legal authorities do I need to shut down the riots, we want to be able to shut down the riots and not have the legal community or the defense community to come in and say that's an inappropriate use of what you're trying to do.
Oh, boy.
Wow.
So yeah. Shadow.
Yeah. So what we want is the law, and then we want another set of rules that we operate by, where we can just say, well, this is our interpretation.
And we could name those guys the SS, perhaps?
I think, yeah. That's been taken, but we'll come up with something pithy and
the
a little more modern. Yeah. There you go. See? Right there. I said pithy and more modern, and he comes up with the ASS.
Okay. So that means the active SS. Okay.
There you go.
That's what I mean by that.
For sure, the ASS.
So, folks, Trump's pick of Hegseth for Defense Secretary was particularly shocking, okay? This is a position that involves overseeing more than 1 million active duty troops, hundreds of thousands of civilians, and helping shape how the country handles matters of war, including developing strike targets. Hegseth is mainly known for being a rambunctious, Fox News host, often distinguished as a loose cannon on TV panels and obsessing over culture wars. Not to mention that he opposes women in combat roles and has advised Trump to purge quote-unquote woke generals. Yep. He's not being scrutinized for sexual assault allegations. Let's not forget it.
Oh, he will be. Real quick, as long as he doesn't have an axe in his hand, I feel a little bit safer. I don't know if you've seen
and don't be playing the drums anywhere near him.
An axe and completely missing the target. So I'm not sure if his military service got him the trick. The other thing that happened just yesterday is in Milwaukee, the USS Beloit was commissioned. Now, this is a ship that they've been prepping for its service for the last 2 years. It was built by partially by a company based in Beloit, and that's why it's named. The commander of that ship is a woman. So I hope she gets some good time before he takes her off the bridge.
Sure.
But she is.
And if a woman can physically make the same qualifications as a man, these are people who are actively serving their country. Why wouldn't you want a woman to have that, compunction to go out there and serve? That's like the best, highest thing somebody can do, right?
I think in their mind, because it, invalidates their manhood. And
what are they afraid of? They're that insecure that they don't want to consider that a woman can kick butt and take names.
And we clearly know. Well, I think if we put this guy Hegseth against some of our female fighters, this guy's not coming out, even if he has an
I'd like to see him in a debate with Tammy Duckworth.
Yeah, I think she'd take him. She's tough.
Okay.
She's tough.
So, folks, we come in every Sunday morning from 9 to 10, and it is the Lightning Strike. And in the studios with me today is Ken DeLuke and John Arena. Congresswoman Marie Newman is got a lot of things on her plate right now, so she will be joining us as and when she finds some time to join the conversation. She's got 2 books coming out, I believe, right? And by the way, Sheila White, our segment producer for our Person of the Week, is working on 2 books of her own also.
Wow.
So we are surrounded by good people in here, and we are surrounded by good listeners out there. And please feel free to go to our website, tlsradio.com. See if you want to support the show. There is a donate button on there that you are very welcome to, send in a couple of dollars our way that we can continue this fight for the next 4 years while we have this thing going on called the Trump misadministration. I'm not going to call it an administration, folks. And by the way, Trump does not know that he's surrounding himself with jackals now, okay? These guys are going to tear him to pieces the moment he turns his back, and those he feels that are his trusted, loyal people, they are the ones who are going to turn on him and bring in J.D. Vance as their next person to take over some of the things. As a businessman, please remember, Elon Musk does not invest money when there is no return on that money, and he's going to get billions of dollars back for the amount of about 120 million or so that he invested in this. On that note, thank you so much. We'll see you again next week, same time, same place, 9 to 10 on WCPT over here.